Malcolm X was shot to death on February 21st, 1965, 57 years ago. Each year, May 19th, his birthday, or May 20th, is set aside to remember him as a civil rights leader. So today we will speak of him and honor the memory of a brilliant life cut brutally short. With gratitude for our lives and the gift of this day and time together as a community of hope and possibility, let us open our hearts to the Spirit's call to grow spiritually by remembering that Malcolm X's work, the struggle for the dignity, equality, and freedom of every human being remains unfinished. And let us in this hour renew our own commitment to live more fully our first principle, which affirms the inherent worth and dignity of every person. Come, let us worship together. I invite you to rise and join in singing our opening hymn, There Is More Love Somewhere. The words have been adapted for this service and will be found on an insert in your order of service.
More love somewhere. There is more love somewhere. I'm gonna keep on till I find it. More love somewhere. There is more hope somewhere. There is more hope somewhere. I'm gonna keep on till I find it. There is more hope somewhere. There is more peace somewhere. There is more peace somewhere. I'm gonna keep on till I find it. There is more peace somewhere. There is healing somewhere. There is healing somewhere. I'm gonna keep on till I find it. There is healing There is justice somewhere. There is justice somewhere. I'm gonna keep on till I find it. There is justice somewhere.
Join me in reading the covenant of our church, which is found in your order of service. I'll give you a moment to find it. I'll give you a hint. It starts with love. Love is the spirit of this church, and service its law. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another. Good morning, everyone. Good to see you. Beautiful, beautiful May Day. I'm so grateful to have in our pulpit this morning the Reverend Stephen Protzman, in his 4th year as settled minister of the Unitarian Universalist Church of Kent in Kent, Ohio. Prior to moving to Ohio, Reverend Stephen served the Unitarian Universalist Society of Iowa City, Iowa for 7 years. He's a native Midwesterner and grew up in Missouri and Iowa. He holds an undergraduate degree in architecture from Iowa State University and is a 2009 graduate of United Theological Seminary of the Twin Cities, New Brighton, Minnesota. He's been a good friend and colleague here in the area, and he'll probably tell you a bit more about how he came to be here, but I'm so excited to have him.
Thank you, Joseph.
And I see out here, it's very wonderful, many of you who attended yesterday afternoon the National Bands Off Our Bodies rally at the courthouse. And there are next steps. So there's a new group that was formed, Steel Valley Reproductive Justice Coalition. They will be using the church as a place to plan next steps. So keep an eye out for that in June. And a couple members of our church are part of that coalition. And this afternoon, right after service, I invite you all to attend a foreign policy conversation on Ukraine, led by Bob Siebold in Schweitzer Lounge or in Channing Hall, one of the two. Join us downstairs for a conversation on Ukraine. And Bob has lots of experience with foreign affairs, working for the government. And next Saturday, we have a work party at 10 a.m. Join us. This beautiful sanctuary doesn't stay beautiful on its own. Join us for a work party, everyone, all ages, 10 a.m. next Saturday. And that afternoon, 12:30 p.m., we've been invited to attend an open invite to anyone in the community at the Shell gas station on Market Street in Avalon to pray for peace. It's a place actually where there's been a lot of shooting in the past 3 weeks. Numerous people have been shot and killed, mugged at that particular location and Market in Avalon. And they're asking for anyone who cares about peace in our community to show up. Next Saturday, 12:30 p.m., I'm going to be there, and I said I would invite everyone here. And today is a very special day. It is Beth Foster's birthday today. And it's also your son's, Julian Bell. It's also his birthday today. Oh, so you know what we have to do?
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to everybody. Happy birthday to you.
so I'm very glad. So our theme this month is nurturing beauty. And I can think of no better person who represents that ethic than Malcolm X. When I visited Mosque Number 7 in New York City, I met with various people who knew Malcolm, and I asked them, what was Malcolm X like? And they said, he made me feel beautiful. And not only me, they said, I looked around at my community. This is in Harlem, all black people. I saw my community as beautiful. And after I left hearing Malcolm X speak, I left with my head a little higher. I personally can think of nothing more that gets to the heart of what ministry is than that. Nurturing a sense of self, a sense that we are beautiful, especially if our culture says otherwise. Each of you is beautiful. Each of you on Zoom, on Facebook, all of you who are viewing this later, beautiful. So we light this chalice to follow in Malcolm X's footsteps, nurturing beauty.
Here I am in person to share a story with you today. So the story is called I Am Love, and I don't know if you remember, but a while back we did a story that was called I Am Human. And this is by the same author and the same artist. The author is Susan Verde, and the art is by Peter H. Reynolds. The author says, "This book is my love letter to the world, as each one of us is worthy of love in all its forms and expressions, and we are all capable of adding light to the world when we listen to our hearts and choose love. When I see someone going through a storm of hurt and unfairness, of anger and sadness, when the sun disappears and the skies grow dark, and I see there is fear, I ask myself, what can I do to help let the light back in? I put my hands on my heart and listen, and that is where I find the answer. I have compassion. I act with tenderness. I am love. I can listen and not say a word. I can be there. Love is being present. I can hug and hold and say, everything will be all right. Love is comfort. I can speak softly and choose my words and actions carefully. Love is gentle. I can give thanks for all that I have and am able to share. Love is gratitude. I can keep my mind and body safe and healthy. Love is taking care of me. I can express what's important to me. Love is creative. I can know that no one is perfect. Love is understanding. I can do my best to make things better when something is wrong. I can celebrate those I've loved before. Love is remembering. I can find goodness in a kind word and a helping hand. or a shared smile. Love is tiny gestures. I can breathe in the air that the whole world shares and know all creatures are made from the very same stardust. Love is connection. When the clouds roll in for others and for me, I know now there is something I can do. I can let my heart lead the way. I am love. You are love. We are love. And with love, we will weather the storm and light up the sky together. The end. Now it's time to go to class.
I see some hemming and hawing. Enjoy your time with Kathleen. It'll be fun. It'll be fun. Each month, we donate all loose cash and unmarked checks put in the offering plate to a nonprofit organization whose mission and actions are consistent with UU principles and the mission of this church. For those in the sanctuary, I hope we have silver plates somewhere, or great. See it in the back, nice and shiny. For those on Zoom, oh, and right here too. Thank you, Jim. For those on Zoom, there will be a link down in the chat box where you can give to this organization, which I'll tell you a little bit about. The main giveaway, the plate recipient, is the second annual week-long Juneteenth celebration, which takes place June 11th through the 19th at the Eugenia Atkinson Recreation Center. This year's week-long celebration will be highlighted by the 2022 Juneteenth Sankofa Ball, the Juneteenth Cultural Festival, and the 6th Annual Brunch Gala. The Youngstown Juneteenth week-long celebration is a citywide cultural celebration to highlight the best of the greater Youngstown area's Black culture. Sankofa, which is the theme for this year's Juneteenth celebration, means to retrieve and return. It's beautiful. Returning to our culture, our ancestors, and ourselves. The steps we take forward will most definitely impact those who will come after us. So during this week-long celebration, we move with mindfulness and knowledge that the legacies that have come before us have set up the legacies that we will leave behind. We will now receive the offering that supports the life of Youngstown, the Mahoning Valley, and our wider world. And you can all rise in body or spirit for our offertory hymn, hymn 53 in the gray hymnal. I walk the unfrequented road.
Open eye and ear, I watch afield the farmer load the bounty of the year. I filch the fruit of no one's toil, no trespasser am I, and yet I reap from every soil from the boundless sky. I gather where I did not sow, and bind the mystic sheaf. But the amber stair and rivers flow, the rustle of the leaf. A beauty springtime never knew, all the quiet ways, and sweet face the hills, the streams, the wood, and here with all akin. My heart expands their fortitude, and peace and joy flow in.
I can't think of a better description of meditation than allowing peace and joy to flow in. Please join me in a little bit of silence. For those on Zoom and Facebook, I know you might be doing something. You might be in the middle of raising kids or working on projects or shopping. Some people listen to us as they walk. That's okay. Just notice you're alive and breathing. Spirit for 116. I'm on my way. In the
On my way to freedom land. On my way to the freedom land. I'm on my way to land. I'm on my way, oh God, I'm on my way. I asked my sister, come and go with me. I asked my sister, come and go with me. I asked my sister, come and go with me. I'm on my way, great God, I'm on my way. I asked my brother, come and go with me. I asked my brother, come and go with me. I asked my brother, come and go with me. I'm on my way, great God, I'm on my way. If they say no, I'll go anyhow. If they say no, I'll go anyhow. If they say no, I'll go anyhow. I'm on my way, great God, I'm on my way. I'm on my way, and I I won't turn back. I'm on my way, and I won't turn back. I'm on my way, and I won't turn back. I'm on my way, great God, I'm on my way.
Let America be America again. Let it be the dream it used to be. Let it be the pioneer on the plain, seeking a home where he himself is free.
America never was America to me.
Let America be the dream the dreamers dreamed. Let it be that great, strong land of love, where never kings connive, nor tyrants scheme, that any man be crushed by one above.
It never was America to me.
Oh, let my land be a land where liberty is crowned with no false patriotic wreath, but opportunity is real and life is free. Equality is in the air we breathe.
There's never been equality for me, nor freedom in this homeland of the free.
Say, who are you that mumbles in the dark? And who are you that draws your veil across the stars?
I am the poor white, fooled and pushed apart. I am the Negro bearing slavery's scars. I am the red man driven from,
I'm the red man driven from the land. I am the immigrant clutching the hope I seek.
and finding only the same old stupid plan of dog eat dog, of mighty crush the weak.
I am the young man, full of strength and hope, tangled in that ancient, endless chain of profit, power, gain, or grab the land, or grab the gold, or grab the ways of satisfying need, or work the men, or take the pay of owning everything for one's own greed.
I am the farmer, bondsman to the soil. I am the worker sold to the machine. I am the Negro servant to you all. I am the people humble, hungry, mean. Hungry yet today despite the dream, beaten yet today. Oh, pioneers, I am the man who never got ahead, the poorest worker bartered through the years.
Yet I'm the one who dreamt our basic dream in the old world while still a serf of kings, who dreamt a dream so strong, so brave, so true, that even yet its mighty daring sings in every brick and stone, in every furrow turned, that's made America the land it has become.
Oh, I'm the man who sailed those early seas in search of what I meant to be my home. For I'm the one who left dark Ireland's shore and Poland's plain and England's grassy lea, and torn from black Africa's strand I came to build a homeland of the free.
The free? Who said the free? Not me. Surely not me. The millions of relief today, the millions shot down when we strike, the millions who have nothing for our pay.
For all the dreams we've dreamed, and all the songs we've sung, and all the hopes we've held, and all the flags we've hung, the millions who have nothing for our pay. except the dream that's almost dead today.
Oh, let America be America again. The land that never has been yet, and yet must be. The land where every man is free. The land that's mine. The poor man's, Indians, Negroes, me.
Who made America, whose sweat and blood, whose faith and pain, whose hand at the foundry, whose plow in the rain, must bring back our mighty dream again.
Sure, call me any ugly name you choose. The steel of freedom does not stain. For those who live like leeches on the people's lives, we must take back our land again, America.
Oh yes, I say it plain. America never was America to me, and yet I swear this oath, America will be.
Out of the rack and ruin of our gangster death, the rape and rot of graft and stealth and lies, we the people must redeem the land, the mines, the plants, the rivers, the mountains and the endless plain, and all the stretch of these great green states, and make America again.
Thank you for the privilege and pleasure of being here this morning. Thank you, Joseph. I bring my greetings to you from the Kent congregation. If you don't know it already, your minister likes to cause some trouble. After 5 years, that's probably not a surprise to you, and it's a good thing. Joseph and I were having lunch with another colleague recently, talking about the sorts of things ministers talk about when we're together, when out of the blue, Joseph said, "Stephen, I challenge you to come to Youngstown in May and preach about Malcolm X." I was stunned into silence, which is not typical for me, and sat there for a few minutes before I replied, "I'll think about it and let you know." Driving home, my first thought was that this was payback for inviting Joseph to preach at my installation 3 years ago. Then I wrestled with the challenges of talking about Malcolm X. Could I, as a privileged white man with any authenticity, preach about a black man who had some rather harsh things to say about white people? Would I be able to challenge all of us to lean into the discomfort of looking at the highly volatile issue of racism from the perspective of a black man who advocated for black equality by any means necessary, including violence as a response to violence? I also realized that I knew very little about Malcolm X. After I read Joseph's sermon and some other materials about Malcolm X and confronted my own fear about this topic, I said yes and thank you a day later. It's been a journey of learning and reflection about the complexities and the evolution of Malcolm X. I read his autobiography, the story of a man whose father was murdered and whose mother was committed to an asylum, leaving him in the hands of a system that sent him to foster homes and reform school. Although he was one of the brightest students in school, his teachers shunned and discouraged him because of his skin color. In his autobiography, Malcolm tells the story of his English teacher, who, when Malcolm told him he wanted to be a lawyer, replied, "Malcolm, one of life's first needs is for us to be realistic. A lawyer. That's no realistic goal for the teacher used the N-word here. You need to think about something you can be. You're good with your hands making things. Why don't you plan on carpentry?" Malcolm says, "The teacher had encouraged others in my class, all of them white, yet nearly none of them had earned marks equal to mine." Malcolm dropped out of school soon after that and got involved in criminal activities. In 1946, at the age of 21, he was sent to prison for a burglary conviction. While in prison, his spiritual evolution began. Malcolm encountered the teachings of Elijah Muhammad, the leader of the Nation of Islam, whose members are known as Black Muslims. The Nation of Islam advocated for black nationalism and racial separation. Muhammad's teachings had a strong effect on Malcolm, who entered into an intense program of self-education. He also changed his last name from his given name Little to X to symbolize his stolen African identity. After he was released from prison, he became a minister of the Nation of Islam in Harlem, New York. He preached on the streets of Harlem and spoke at major universities such as Harvard and the University of Oxford. He expressed the pent-up anger, frustration, and bitterness of African Americans during the major phase of the Civil Rights Movement from 1955 to 1965. He was both respected and feared. Unlike civil rights leaders such as Martin Luther King Jr., Malcolm X advocated self-defense and the liberation of African Americans by any means necessary. He said, "I am for violence if nonviolence means we continue postponing a solution to the American blacks' problem just to avoid violence. Our goal is to bring about the freedom of these people by any means necessary." That's our motto. We want freedom by any means necessary. We want justice by any means necessary. We want equality by any means necessary. Malcolm said in 1964, "I am a Muslim because it's a religion that teaches you an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth. It teaches you to respect everybody and treat everybody right. But it also teaches you if someone steps on your toe, chop off their foot. And I carry my religious axe with me all the time." After being suspended from the Nation of Islam by Elijah Muhammad, Malcolm formally left the organization and went on a Muslim pilgrimage, a Hajj, to Mecca, the holy city of Islam, in April 1964. It transformed him. He had previously spoken of white people as devils and an inferior race, but during the Hajj, he experienced white Muslims. He wrote, "There were tens of thousands of pilgrims from all over the world. They were of all colors, from blue-eyed blondes to black-skinned Africans. But we were all participating in the same ritual, displaying a spirit of unity that my experiences in America had led me to believe never could exist." He hadn't changed his views about the power and violence of racism, but his pilgrimage experience awakened him to the dignity, the beauty of humankind, and the truth of our shared humanity. He wrote of his experience, "Since I have learned the truth in Mecca, my dearest friends have come to include all kinds, some Christians, Jews, Buddhists, Hindus, agnostics, and even atheists. I have friends who are called capitalists, socialists, and communists. Some of my friends are moderates, conservatives, extremists. Some are even Uncle Toms. My friends today are black, brown, red, yellow, and white." This is our first UU principle in practice, the inherent worth and dignity of every person. And this conversion to a deeper compassion and love of humanity led him to organize at a global level. Later on, he wrote, "I'm for truth no matter who tells it. I'm for justice no matter who it is for or against. I'm a human being first and foremost, and as such, I'm for whoever and whatever benefits humanity as a whole." He believed that every person should be free to live with dignity and freedom. When he returned to America, he founded the Organization of Afro-American Unity, which advocated for black identity and proclaimed that racism and white supremacy, not white people, were the greatest enemy of the African American. Malcolm X's new movement steadily gained followers and his more moderate philosophy became increasingly influential in the civil rights movement. His assassination in early 1965 silenced a brilliant mind that had contributed to the core ideas of the Black Power movement that emerged in the 60s and 70s. It also helped to change the terms used to refer to African Americans from Negro and colored to Black and Afro-American. His true genius was in his ability to express in simple language the hell of being Black in this country. He was once asked about a debate with the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. In response, he smiled and said that Dr. King would surely lose. Why? He said, because I'm not interested in dreams, he said, but in the nightmare. I am one of 22 million Blacks that are victims of Americanism. While King was having a dream, the rest of us Negroes are having a nightmare. Malcolm X was a prophetic voice. He held up to white America a spiritual mirror that reflected the truth of this country's ugly, cruel history of building empire through the sweat, blood, and tears of the people it enslaved. This is referred to in the Nation of Islam's theology as returning the gaze. Malcolm X didn't hesitate to name the sins of racism, the evil of white supremacy, and call out white America for its prosperity earned through slavery, the theft of land from the indigenous peoples, the oppression of the poor by the rich. In his book, The Ballot or the Bullet, he wrote, 310 years we worked in this country without a dime in return. I mean without a dime in return. You let the white man walk around here talking about how rich this country is, but you never stop to think how it got rich so quick. It got rich because you made it rich. In his 1935 poem, Let America Be America Again, Langston Hughes names this reality so powerfully. An America that never was and still is not America for people of color. For so many, the American dream is a lie. Langston Hughes wrote, "Say, who are you that mumbles in the dark? And who are you that draws your veil across the stars? I am the poor white, fooled and pushed apart. I am the Negro bearing slavery's scars. I am the red man driven from the land. I am the immigrant clutching the hope I seek and finding only that same stupid old plan, dog eat dog, mighty crush the weak." Nothing has really changed in the 57 years since Malcolm X was murdered. Yes, if he were alive today, he would have seen a Black president and the first Black female Supreme Court justice. He would see the Black Lives Matter movement, the Black music genres of hip hop and rap, and Black people participating in every aspect of American life. But his gaze would reveal a country that still refuses to tell the truth of its past, an America that has not fulfilled its destiny. He would see mass incarceration of Black men and police brutality, drug epidemics and gun violence in poor communities of color, the Voting Rights Act gutted in ways that affect people of color most. He would see that white people in this country still enjoy far more benefits and privileges than people of color because of the racism and white supremacy that are embedded in our institutions and our culture. Even if you're poor and struggling, as some of you in this room are, and many in Youngstown are, if you're white, you enjoy more privileges and freedom than a person of color. There's an activity called the Privilege Walk. Has anyone heard of it? Have you done it? Yeah, it is. To participate, you stand in a straight line across the room and respond to statements that are made about various privileges, such as, if you're a white male, take one step forward. At the end of the activity, participants who answered yes to more of the questions will be standing toward the front of the room, while those who more frequently answered no will be standing toward the back. If you worry that you will be harassed or hurt or even killed because of your skin color while driving or eating or walking or simply being, take 5 steps back. That statement isn't in the original privilege walk, but I added it because it speaks the ugly truth of what it means to be black in America today. I did the privilege walk in seminary, and it was shocking to see myself, a white, able-bodied, cisgender gay man, several steps in front of the professors of color who were my teachers, most of whom were ordained ministers and far better educated than I am. That day, I had a conversion experience. I made a lifelong commitment to work not only for racial justice, but for human dignity. Today, I invite you into this holy work that our Unitarian Universalist faith calls us to do. To look into the spiritual mirror that Malcolm X continues to hold up before us and ask ourselves, how do I as a white person benefit from racism and white supremacy? How will we use our privilege and our power, however much or little we may have, to make more justice, more equality, more freedom for people of color? How will you and I raise our own prophetic voices and work to end the racism, the violence, the white supremacy that continues to oppress people of color? In the spirit of Malcolm X, what will we each do to treat every person with respect, to see their beauty and wonder, and to honor their worth and dignity, and help them live fully? Would you join me now in the spirit of prayer? Spirit of truth, hear our lament. We name and confess America's original sin of racism and the legacy of slavery and white supremacy that prevents our nation from living out its promise of equality, justice, and peace for all its people. We grieve the loss of more innocent lives in Buffalo because of a mass shooting motivated by racism and hatred. We pray for justice to be served and that love would hold and comfort those who grieve the loss of a loved one. Spirit of hope and possibility, our hearts are filled with longing for racial justice, a justice that is long overdue, a justice that you call us to work for, a longing for less alienation from one another and more connection and compassion, a longing for less fear and indifference and more courage and willingness to listen and to learn, a longing for a nation that will name and repent of its injustice and evil and become a land of righteousness and justice for all. Spirit of love, flow through us, fill us with strength. Help us live our call to tear down systems and structures of evil, of white supremacy, of racism, of injustice in our land. Stir in us, we pray, a vision of our kinship with all of life, and fill us with the power to bring healing to the wounds and pain of the past and present, to act with the love that overcomes hatred, and to work for the beloved community, a time where all people will dwell together in peace and justice. May it be so, and together it is ours to make so. Amen.
Please rise in body or spirit. The insert is in the order of service, Seeking a New Way. A little bit of adaptation.
Stronger every day. We are seeking a new way. We are yearning to be free. We are yearning to be free. We are yearning to be free of hate and greed and jealousy. We are yearning to be free, to be free. We can feed our every need. We can feed our every need. We can feed our every need. Start with love, that is the seed. We can feed our every need, our every need. Peace and freedom is our cry. Peace and freedom is our cry. Peace and freedom is our cry. Without these, the world will die. Peace and freedom is our cry, is our cry.
We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we keep in our hearts until we meet again.
Once again, thank you. The honor of being in your pulpit this morning. I also want you to be aware that I gave Joseph a challenge in return. And you know your challenge, to come to Kent and join with our colleague Amy Gopp at the UCC Church to preach about John Brown. Now for the benediction, I offer you these words of actor Ossie Davis from his eulogy at Malcolm X's funeral. Here at this final hour, Harlem has come to bid farewell to one of its brightest hopes, extinguished now and gone from us forever. Many will ask what Harlem finds to honor in this stormy, controversial, and bold young captain, and we will smile. We will answer and say unto them, did you ever talk to Brother Malcolm? Did you ever really listen to him? For if you did, you would know him. And if you knew him, you would know why we must honor him. And now, renewed in our commitment to act with the love that overcomes hatred and to work for the beloved community, let us go forth as we continue to build a diverse and transformative spiritual community, help people live lives of wholeness, and promote justice, peace, and religious freedom. May it be so. Blessed be. Amen. And I see the beauty and the light in you.
So won't you be my neighbor? Join us for coffee downstairs. Reverend Jim Ray has a bunch of magazines from Yes, a social justice periodical, free to give away. Join us for coffee right downstairs.